Very good morning to everybody. A little weather extra. For those of you that were up with me last night, streaming at 1 o'clock in the morning, and we watched a storm literally crawl across the Tennessee Valley for about 3.5 hours together, and that was a big old lightning, lots of thunder, rattling the roof, heavy rain. It was never really warned except when it first moved into Franklin County, but the impact was enough where it was waking people up. You all came to the stream to find out what was going on, and we appreciate that. Another thing I want to thank you all for, too, is the incredible updates throughout the storm. And a lot of you were letting me know, like, when the storm was, like, in Russellville, some of you in Albertville could see the lightning. I mean, it was that crazy. When the storm first crossed into Alabama, it had over 650 lightning strikes with it. Like, it was, like, electrical. And there was some reports of some trees down with some gusty winds, about 40-mile-an-hour winds, but with the ground so saturated, it was enough to cause some damage. And some small hail was reported as well. And obviously there was power outages. Whenever you have a storm that electric, that will usually happen. So that's behind us now. And now we have a 48 first alert weather day for tomorrow. And it will be probably a more impactful event for more locations. And the types of severe weather that we're anticipating will be more in the way of damaging winds over 60 miles an hour, larger hail, heavy rain, and there is a threat for tornadoes tomorrow afternoon and night. Have a way to keep up with the updates, not just the forecast for tonight and tomorrow, but also when the storms approach, so that you have a way to get notifications as well. Now, what's going to lead to a little confusion is that the radar right now is dry. We're good to go, right? But there's this drawn out frontal boundary that's draped across northeast Alabama. It's acting like a warm front. And what it could do, it could spark a few showers and storms this afternoon. Overall coverage will be minimal, but areas like in Jackson County, maybe northeast Madison County, our middle Tennessee viewers, you may have a few storms today that produce some heavy rainfall and some gusty winds up to 40 miles an hour. That's not what the 48 first alert weather day is issued for. It's for tomorrow. So a few storms today may lead to a little confusion, but it's really tomorrow afternoon, more towards like late afternoon and evening, that we fire up a line of storms that will be moving into the Tennessee Valley. And I'll have a breakdown of the future radar for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up full so you can see everything better. And it makes it easy. Hi, Bailey. Hi, Donna Oliver. Good to see you on. Dio from PC. PC, Donna Oliver, you had some big old boomers last night moving through PC. Well, they were mainly north of you, but they were still loud and bright. So that's the current radar. Now I'm going to show you what we had last night was what we call them a little MCS. Think of it as a cluster of thunderstorms, and they raced through and they moved through Atlanta and then they fizzled out. But that's essentially the warm front right there, just draped, and all those showers and thunderstorms are lining up on it. And we could have a little bit of development. It would favor northeast Alabama and Tennessee today, and that's what we'll be watching this afternoon. Okay, as the warm front lifts north, what does it mean for you at home? It means it keeps things warm, it keeps things humid, and anytime you have that combination in the Tennessee Valley and you have a frontal boundary, a cold front that's going to swing through tomorrow afternoon, that's the lifting mechanism with all the instability in the air. That moisture is all you need to add Cape values, we call them, real high. There's a chance that we can twist some of this air. There's enough helicity, enough shear that we could have some tornadoes. And that's what we'll be tracking throughout the day tomorrow. So the next 12 hours, I'll put the pop-up storm in there. It says 5 o'clock, but it's more like 3 or 4 to 5 o'clock for areas northeast Alabama. Other than that, if you don't have that storm, today's mainly a quiet day. It's just breezy. Winds out of the south-southwest, gust to 15, temperatures in the 80s, and extremely humid for this time of year. Tonight, no issues. Just cloudy and uncomfortably muggy, around 70. We start to fire things up tomorrow afternoon. So here's your 1 p.m. It shows you the radar, right? Where we have storms happening now, that's where they'll be about 1 o'clock. You look closely, I'll pause it right about 4. You see where some of those storms are trying to develop there up towards like where that 79 is, right by Tullahoma, right? So what happens is some of those could clip northeastern Jackson County, and we'll keep an eye on it. Again, the big rain producers. Anytime you have a storm develop with this kind of atmosphere, they are going to be big rain makers, definitely. Could get a little bit in the way of some gusty winds too. Monday, 8 p.m., anything that fires up is gone, and we're good to go. You wake up Tuesday morning, the air will feel soupy. It will be uncomfortable. It'll be 70 degrees and sticky with a lot of cloud cover. We'll probably pop a little sunshine around noon, which is like the worst thing we could do. That will take temperatures briefly up into the 80s, but you look off to the west at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, and there's the line of storms. The biggest question right now is, do we get some severe storms that blow up before the main line gets here? And whenever that happens, that's usually usually going to be some kind of strong wind, severe weather event even before the line gets here. So by 5 p.m., this forecast model doesn't have a lot of those little discrete cells ahead of it, but we'll watch closely. The line will then barrel down into the Tennessee Valley. By 7, 8 o'clock, anywhere from Moulton to Russellville, up to Huntsville to Athens, all the way up into Winchester, that line is moving to the east-southeast, and then eventually makes a swing through DeKalb and Jackson County by 10 or 11 p.m. It does look like at this time that the strongest storms will probably be for areas in northwest Alabama, but I would not put my guard down if I was in Sand Mountain Magic or Lookout Mountain, because there will still be enough in the way of severe weather. We could have a few tornadoes even for areas east. The winds themselves will be quite gusty, damaging winds over 60 miles an hour, heavy rain, and then by 2 a.m., that line moves east. Look what happens to your temperatures, though. They drop, right? It's going to be a lot cooler behind the rainfall. So for your Tuesday 48 first alert weather day, I have red boxes there after 4 p.m. And that's strong thunderstorms after a dry morning. Temperatures should hit 80 before the storms get here. I adjusted the timeline a little bit. I talked to Brad, sent him a text. I said, hey, look, I'm going to push it back just a little bit. We had 2 p.m. originally. We pushed it back to 4 to 8 in the red, and then carrying over 8 to 11 for areas east. And again, this is for Tuesday, not for today. The graphic at the top shows you the day that we have it for, and that's why we've issued a 48 first alert weather day for tomorrow. Hi, Samantha. Good morning to you, Big Cheddar. What are you doing? Good to see you on. Samantha, you make me smile. I appreciate that. Most of the time I get really nice comments. I had somebody really mean to me this morning, though. They told me they hated me. I was very disappointed, especially since I had rolled out of bed 20 minutes before that. Storm threats, there it is, 60-mile-an-hour winds, moderately to high confidence that that will happen. Heavy rainfall, large hail, and elevated tornado chance, which means more than just like a low chance. And somebody, Adam, works for a fire department, I think it's in Falkville, Eva area, and he asked me, he says, is this going to be like a tornado outbreak? I think everyone always wants to try to compare it to 2011, and what happened in 2011, I was not here for it, but obviously I've read about it and I'm very up to date on what happened. You know, whether it's a tornado outbreak, probably not, but it certainly could be a few tornadoes, and 1 or 2 or 3 tornadoes is 1, 2, or 3 too many, right? And even if you don't have a tornado, you have the potential to have wind gusts of 60, even 70 miles an hour. That's going to cause damage as well. So it's a double-edged sword. You don't miss out on the tornado, you might get the really strong winds, and that could cause as much damage. So we got to keep an eye on that. So I put a few storms in to cover those storms this afternoon. There's your severe threat Tuesday, highlighted by the alert day Wednesday. Beautiful Wednesday through Friday. Very cool for this time of year, too. We go from a summery, sultry pattern to a fall-like feel by the end of the week. Overnight lows will be around 50 degrees. And then tracking the Memorial Day weekend, it's a tricky one, but for now we went Saturday dry, Sunday rain, Monday dry. Might have to add a few showers from a Memorial Day, waiting to see when that next system comes in. We pushed it to Tuesday and Wednesday for now, but we'll keep an eye out. We'll probably focus a bit more on the Memorial Day forecast once we get past the severe weather threat that we have coming for tomorrow. Obviously, that's the biggest concern. We want you to be able to have outdoor activities for Memorial Day weekend, of course. We want to try to pinpoint when the most dry conditions will be, and we'll do our best to fine-tune that weekend forecast after we get past the severe weather day tomorrow, okay? Who's on today? Hi, Yolanda. I see it. Hoping, I always say this, hope for the best. Hope this all plays down. Like somebody will say to me, wow, I didn't do what you said it was going to do. Good. I'm okay with that, because if we don't have widespread severe weather on Tuesday, I'm a homeowner. I don't want anything to happen to my house. I'm sure you don't either, you know. So hopefully it all plays down, and that would be fantastic. We'll know more when we get closer to the time when the thunderstorms move through. We'll be tracking it probably on air and streaming. But whenever you have a chance for severe weather, and we do certainly have that chance Tuesday afternoon and night, you always want it to play down. Some of you who follow the national news, it's been a very active weekend across the U.S. There was numerous tornadoes. Some of the footage that was coming in, I do believe it was from London, Kentucky. In the neighborhood was completely wiped out. You saw the damage probably in St. Louis. We've had multiple rounds of severe weather all around us. We even had our own storms here on Saturday and Sunday. Last night, yesterday afternoon, nothing really widespread severe for our area, but still certainly had some storms, but thankfully not like the storms that were to our north and west over the weekend. They were certainly more in the way of severe weather there, right? Kristen, I didn't realize we were going to get storms last night. Yeah, the storms are in the forecast. Really, they were from last Wednesday. We have all these like clusters of storms. They're going to ride this boundary, right? And at any time that the clusters move into Tennessee Valley, we would have storms. So we talked about the potential of waves of storms. There was like 3 different waves yesterday. There was another one we had to get through last night. There's one brushing the area this afternoon, and then the main player comes tomorrow afternoon and night. So good reminder last night too, with all the lightning that we had. Lightning is not part of the criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning. Only winds over 58, tornado threat, and large hail 1 inch in diameter. That's what sparks a severe thunderstorm warning. And we did have a warning at first when it moved into Franklin County, but so many of you asked that question last night. You know, this is so loud and so bright. Technically, it's not defined as a severe thunderstorm, so you don't get the warning. But I'll tell you, anybody who was watching those storms with me last night, that one cell, if you have thunderstorm anxiety and it's night and it's lighting up everything, and it was like a strobe light indicator at one point. The lightning was so frequent. It was cloud to ground lightning too, very dangerous. I don't care if it's warned or not, it's still impactful, right? For some people, they're like, it wasn't that bad. Okay, for you it wasn't, but for other people it was. You know, it comes down to like how it impacts you personally, and that's important to remember. Michelle Ann Robinson, always good to see you. Good morning with a little coffee cup. I had a lot of coffee today. I'm wired right now, y'all. I'm telling you right now, I could run through that wall if I had to right now. I'm so tired of all this rain and storms. Hope everyone has a great week. Yeah, it's starting to get a bit monotonous, right? It's like one day after the next. We're talking about some kind of rain or some kind of storm. And, you know, light at the end of the tunnel there comes Wednesday, but unfortunately it's a big hurdle we have to cross on Tuesday to get to that beautiful weather on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I'll be very thankful when we get to the end of the week. Why? Jeff Desnoyers has 2 days off in a row, Thursday and Friday. Yay for me. And I have probably the 2 most beautiful days on that 10-day forecast off. So I will be out in the garden working very, very diligently. Bailey says hi to Megan, which is great. Kristen says, sounds like some projection going on with the hate comment. Yeah, he didn't like me at all. He's just like, I hate you. I was like, okay, all good. On to the next. I just kept on going. But what was really great was, it doesn't matter if you have 1 negative comment. When you have 1,000 positive comments where people are thankful and also sending me vital information at night. Remember, I'm flying by the seat of my pants here, and I need some updates, right? National Weather Service is sending updates. We all work together to make sure we know what's happening in your backyard. A lot of you in Eva were letting me know you had some small hail. In Hartselle, I mean, many of you were like waking up and you're like, what is going on, you know? And but your updates are valuable to us. It really helps us see what's happening out there, even if we don't have somebody there. I mean, we can tell on the radar. It's our job to see what's happening with that storm. And we knew it was a big lightning show. We knew there was some wind, but it was your updates that helped me with the stream to tell everybody else what was happening. And if the storm was coming downstream to somebody, I could say, well, in Eva, it did this. You're now in Grant. We already know that this storm has produced some damaging winds and has a lot of lightning with it. It's coming into your area. So if it's already done that, it could do it again. And that's how it works. Works out well. Thank you, Donna. You're the best. Landon, what is the storm fuel looking like? I don't have that graphic loaded right now, and it's in the other room, but Cape values are around 2,500, 3,000. So if you know the graphic, you know what that means. And we don't have a cap tomorrow, Landon. I saw your other question down below. Chase, do we have any fail modes possible for this, like a cap? Chase, you always know what you're talking about, and I appreciate that. And I like to think that, I wish I could say there was going to be some kind of cap, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a big time severe weather event. Whether it plays out as tornadoes or more in the way of damaging winds, time will tell. But there'll be some kind of impact here tomorrow night, late day tomorrow night. You know, nothing really stopping these storms from firing up. And there's a lot of juice. The Cape value, the energy fuel, shear numbers, I mean, everything. Sometimes you have situations like this where on paper it looks like the ideal or perfect situation to have severe weather, or perfect scenario. I don't want to say situation, scenario. But sometimes it doesn't play up at all and it ends up playing down as a big rainmaker. I don't think we get like choked off from some storms to the south, which sometimes can happen. I don't think we cool off. There's going to be a lot of energy with this. I mean, it's going to be tough to not have a widespread thunderstorm activity. It's just how bad does it get? Hopefully not that bad. Hopefully it plays down. When somebody types a new comment, it all goes down. Thank you, Donna. Donna says, I'm right. Good job. Donna, you're my favorite today. Good for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best, Donna Oliver. DO from PC. Christine, thank you for everything you do. I know it's been hard to predict, but I'd rather be prepared than not. Hey, it's great. I appreciate you watching and following. I mean, if we're just talking about the forecast and nobody's watching, then we're not doing a very good job, right? So I appreciate that. That's what woke me up. Just a little rain, hail. Thank you. Angel says, just some rain, a little hail and wind, and a bunch of lightning, though. Yeah, that was crazy last night, right? Andrea's supposed to go to a concert tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Is that what I saw? Best time to head that way in Nashville? Like 1 in the afternoon. I mean, if you want to beat the storms, you'd have to probably start leaving around 1 or 2 o'clock. Landon, I answered the cap question already. What woke me up? Mayday is supposed to be 2 to 4. We had, Andrea, Angel, I just was talking about it. We had 2 to 9 originally, and we've pushed it back to 4 to 11. I just talked about that. I adjusted the graphic this morning. Some of the forecast models are a little later. That's why it's so important to keep up with updates, because the timing of the storms is probably going to change at least one more time before the storms get here. But I think we're in the vicinity now. We should be pretty good. Rather be prepared than not. Rachel, hey, man, it'd be great to keep that weather away from harvest. Hey, if I had the power harvest, one magic wand, poof, no storms for you. If I could do that for all locations, I'd be very happy. Rachel said, yeah, very loud last night. Everybody stay safe tomorrow. Good advice. I already answered the fuel question for you, Landon. Kirsten, good morning. Thank you for your updates last night. I appreciate it. I try to do a little storm track for you, keep you safe. Chase, lightning strike on the old LaGrange school and burnt it down. Yeah, I haven't gotten confirmation if that's the case, but I can tell you this. Authorities in Leeton said that around 4 a.m. was when the fire started, I do believe. Don't have confirmation of that yet, but it would probably make a lot of sense. There was a tremendous amount of lightning in Leeton around that time. So, and I even talked about it on Facebook Live, and said, hey, we don't focus on the lightning as much because we don't think of it, it doesn't trigger a severe thunderstorm warning, but how many storms have we had since February where lightning has either started a fire in a house or an apartment complex or hit a tree, knocked the tree down on a car, knocked the tree down on a house, and it still caused damage. I don't care if the storm's warned or not, right? The lightning can be just as dangerous. Cloud to ground lightning is the real deal. Cousin dog had graduation at a baseball game tomorrow on Airport Road near the Parkway at 5:12 p.m. tomorrow. Will there be a tornado? Be then? Okay. James, I don't know why, but it hid your comment. So I want to unhide your comment because I think this is a great way to address this. My cousin's dog has a graduation at the baseball game tomorrow off Airport Road near Parkway at 5:12 p.m. tomorrow. Will there be a tornado? And please zoom in on my specific apartment and let me know. I will try to do my best. I cannot tell you if there's going to be a tornado at that location at 5:12 p.m. If I had that power, my pay grade would be a lot higher and I wouldn't be doing this, okay? But I'll tell you this right now, I would keep an eye on that radar. Samantha, he started this morning with a giant energy drink. Got caught. You weren't supposed to tell people that. I took the camera back on me and I got caught. I had a big Monster drink in front of me. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. You weren't supposed to catch me. You sound much better than you did at 2 a.m. You think? I'm way more hoarse right now than I was at 2 a.m. I'll tell you that. I appreciate that. Very nice of you, Kristen. I appreciate that. Chase says, yeah, forget that guy. It's all good. I don't take it personally. I've been doing this for too long. It's called thick skin. You get used to it. Can't make everybody happy. Rachel, we're all here struggling together, surviving on caffeine and a prayer. Amen to that. Got you. We have graduation tomorrow. Oof, pray it doesn't happen. Okay. Yeah, Emily, I will. I'm actually praying and hoping that we don't have widespread severe weather. I don't know if we can poof all the storms away, but that's going to be a tricky one for graduations tomorrow. Brenda, the timeline for Florence, I put it up earlier. I'll put it back up so you can see it. Let me see. Go the wrong way. Go the other way. Go the other way. There you go. We adjusted it a little bit on the time frame. And speaking of that, I think I just got a text message from Brad. Yep. So there's a timeline for you. Storms woke me up this morning, and the first thing I looked at for was someone live. And you know what, Kirsten, that you say that? Guess who was the only station that was live this morning covering those storms from 1 o'clock to 4:15? Just saying, it starts with a 4 and ends with an 8. Yeah. Hi, Katie Smith. Hi, Kate Smith. Good to see you. Katie Smith, good to see you. Tell Tiny I said hello. I love Tiny. I haven't met Tiny yet, but someday I will. Andrea says, thank you. You're welcome. Around 4 to 11. There you go. Thanks, Chase, for answering. I appreciate that. Lightning shook the house, and I jumped up. Yeah, a lot of lightning last night. Brenda, I put the time frame up for you. If I don't answer you right away, I promise I'll get right back to you. I usually don't miss too many comments. I'm usually pretty good at it. I actually read that. Oh, I read it. It's okay. I'm going to unhide you again, James. It's okay. I love it. I like the personality. I'm all about that, man. You didn't have to actually read that. That was just joking. I know you were. That's okay. That's why my answer was so sarcastic. Sarcastic plays off sarcastic. Remember that, my friend. All right, and at the end, I got to go. There's this thing we do. It's called TVL, and it's really awesome. And if you haven't watched it yet, it's a lifestyle show that is fantastic, and Peyton rocks it. And if you haven't watched it, you should. It's on at 11, and I give weather updates during that now, and I do those live. And then if you haven't had enough fill of weather updates through 11 and 12 with all the TVL, great information you're going to find out there. Gina Benitez comes back on at noon after working an entire morning show by herself from 4:30 to 7, and then she gives you all the news updates that you need to know, and I update weather again from 12 to 1. If you haven't had enough at that point, Brad Travis comes in and he'll do a weather extra for you at 3:30 and then go live at 4, and he will cover you all through the evening and overnight, and he'll have the very latest on the storms. We got your back, and we'll keep you updated. I got to go and get ready for this 11 o'clock TVL show. I'm going to check out. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk soon.